Oh, I'm not gonna leave my headphones on. You're right. That's stupid. But what about my sunglasses? Can I leave those on? Because I have this cool microphone. I need to leave them on. All right, start. You have to say the little intro thing. Shit, God, such amateurs. We have these professional mics now. Yes,
Are-
I'm recording for 26 seconds.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
God,
another episode of the
amateurs.
Real Estate Parlor podcast, coming at you with new high definition audio brought to you by our fancy new boom mics. So hopefully we're going to have a
We are
lot better audio going
professionals.
forward.
You know what I love about our podcast is that you know how many views we had on our last podcast, Matthew McConaughey?
uh,
Yes,
7.
we had one,
Oh,
and there's
there you
two
go.
of us.
Yeah, which
So
which is proof that I
you
didn't watch the last
you
podcast.
have freedom to talk about anything. I think I did watch it, so I was the only viewer, and I was also co-starring of it.
Yeah.
So I'm very popular and part of the Real Estate Parlor podcast series, my friend.
Yeah, well,
Um,
we're just getting this bad boy off the ground, and I don't judge anybody for not listening to the previous ones because the audio was terrible, but now it should be crystal clear. So
But
no excuses for the
but
rest of the world to no longer be listening to the Real Estate Parlor.
but one of the reasons why it is beneficial to have nobody actually listening or watching us is that we can talk about anything we want.
That's
Really,
true.
it's just you and I in this office, and no one in the interwebs are probably listening to us. So, with that said, something I would never admit in real life. Guess what concert I went to the other night?
Britney Spears.
Why I have these glasses on. Britney Spears is so not cool. I would never be caught dead at a Britney Spears concert.
Is she
What's
still
wrong
in
with you?
Vegas?
I don't know.
My sister went like 3 times with her
I'm way
friends.
more manlier than that. You know what
Okay,
I
oh,
went to?
okay. What manly concert did you go to,
The
Cheyenne?
Backstreet Boys, BSB, Team BSB for life.
Yep, there
Yep,
you
Backstreet
go.
Boys, 26 years. It was amazing. And then you brought these boom mics in as a surprise. I had no idea I'd be talking into this professional looking mic, which is really great because now I feel like I'm singing and I'm all I have to give.
No, don't
Woohoo.
do it.
Yeah, so that's why I have my sunglasses on right now because I think it just goes with the vibe.
Yeah,
And I
and
think
I
it's
will
pretty
throw out
cool.
there that definitely this microphone makes me feel like I can finally record the single that I've been waiting years to record.
Yeah.
But then as I was testing it, I think there's something wrong with this mic because I sound awful.
Yeah, something totally wrong with the mic.
And there's no way that it's my voice because I've been singing that way for almost 30 years. And if that's the case, I apologize to anybody who's heard me sing because it's pretty bad.
Matthew McConaughey, I think you have a beautiful voice. You sound like an angel. I
Okay,
would
well,
listen to you sing and chirp all day long.
it definitely doesn't sound good on the recorded mic, so I'm not going to throw any out right now.
Okay, all right. Well, other bad news, I have an update myself on something that I purchased,
Oh, the shirt.
and guess what has arrived finally in person?
So for those of you who didn't listen to the other
Probably
podcasts,
did not.
Cheyenne late night Amazon a shirt. Who's on the shirt? Tears for Fears, right?
Tears for Fears, my friend. Tears for Fears. What do you think? I wish
Um,
you could feel it. It really feels like Tupperware. It doesn't even feel like polyester, and it doesn't have any information on the tag of what it's actually made out of. So I don't think I'll ever wear this.
it's so bad.
It's so
And I
bad.
remember we talked about it. It
It
said
feels
3D. It said
gross.
3D printed in the ad, and so it's like plastic
I don't
basically.
know. And the lady, I tried to get a refund on, it, and I was like, "Let me please try to return this." And she's like, how about this? How about I send you $7 instead, and you get to keep the shirt?" And I was like, "Oh my God, she really does not want me to return this thing." And I
Yeah.
actually tried a couple more times to return before I even got the shirt. So I was like, you know what? This is a lesson of life. And if this is the worst mistake I've ever made, I have a pretty good life. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I view it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all what I got to say about that.
I'm gonna throw out there that there's little to no chance that that's the worst decision you've ever made, but sure, we'll let the internet think that that's the worst thing you've ever done. Um,
Wait, before we move on, this is
yeah,
a good point. And because nobody listens, I can talk about anything I want. What do you think about regrets in life? What do you have regrets in life? Would you tattoo no regrets on your bosom? Or what do you
um,
think? Do you
no,
live your life regret free?
no, I don't. I'm chock full of them. I'm a pretty carefree guy, but I also could be in the shower one day and think about a thing that happened in 8th grade where I said something stupid or I did this thing that I still regret to this day, and it haunts me for the next like 5
I really
hours.
thought you were going to go the other direction because I'm completely with you. I feel like there's nothing I don't regret. And it's like
Definitely.
I wouldn't be where I am today. It's like, homie, where are you today?
Yeah.
What, you're working at the Walmart, McDonald's, and that's what you have no regrets about? And it's like there's everything in life is regrettable. Everything could have been better, and it's just one of those things where I don't understand how people flaunt or make that the motto of their life. No, what is it? No regrets.
No
No
regrets.
regrets. Yeah. So
So I'll go the
please
opposite
put an
direction though.
image of what we're talking about when we say that.
I think so I definitely have regrets, but I am one of those people that says I wouldn't change anything, like blah blah blah. Not because I think I did everything perfectly, but because I'm comfortable with where I've landed. And sure, the thing that I did in 8th grade, that if that was to change, probably wouldn't fully affect who I
Yeah.
am as a person right now. But I'm rolling with the punches and keeping it what it is, and just remembering those little flashbacks to help myself not mess up too much in the future,
I guess so.
hopefully.
I mean, it's good to have lessons and to learn from your mistakes, but overall, I just don't understand the motto and why people like to tattoo that particular phrase
Yeah.
when I completely agree where most of life can be probably regretful. So, I
Well,
don't know. People are different. Let us know.
even in this job, my first year was chock full of so many mistakes, and yes, they're lessons learned and blah blah blah, but I sure do wish I hadn't done them.
It's funny how they call, like, if you have a a law firm, I'm sorry, and if you have like a doctor's office or firm, they call it a practice, and lawyers practice. We absolutely practice too. I feel like real estate should be a practice or
Yeah.
called a practice because we get better and better on every single deal we do. We bring more. Ooh, these microphones probably catch that ambulance so crisply, huh? Um, but either way, I just feel like we do get better. So you're right. I do agree about that.
Yeah, that ambulance was pretty loud. I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys are going to hear that. If not, another round of applause for these magical new microphones. So, all right, well let's move on
Let's move
forward
on.
into
What
the
do you
real
got?
estate world and talk about what we've got going on. And first and foremost, I get to issue my first retraction
Ah,
because I
have
was wrong.
you have a regret?
I have a regret. We're probably not going to call it a regret, but I was wrong about something. That thing that I was wrong about, my sincerest apologies to you, virtual staging,
Hmm.
because I have laughed and
Wait,
made
what did
fun
we
of.
say last time about virtual staging? We didn't like it?
I was so anti-virtual staging for a few reasons. Most of the time, I can clearly tell when it's virtual staged, and it looks pretty bad. But also, there's the what you think you're walking into versus what you actually walk into with virtual staging, and it sets customers up for disappointment. So that's why I was pretty anti-virtual staging. But now I'm very pro virtual staging because somebody has done it correctly. So if you look at this first photo, it is virtually staged, but in the top right hand corner, it says virtually staged.
Yeah.
How easy is that? It's telling you that that's not what the room's going to look like when you go into it. But more importantly, when you click to the next photo, it's the exact same picture, not virtually staged. So you get the best of both worlds. You get to see what the room looks like empty, and you get to see what it looks like with the furniture that somebody decided to virtually stage it with.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. It's
It,
so easy and it makes so much sense. It sets realistic expectations and it sets you up for success.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I don't know. I don't know. I still don't agree that it's going to sell the home, but we talked about this earlier. What specifically is nice about this virtually staged versus not virtually staged? And remember that big difference between the two photos is actually not the furniture. It is the wall. The wall is nice and white and bright and has a great contrast against the floors. And I think that shows more evidence that, hey, you're selling a home, you probably want to get it prepped and ready to sell. And by doing a little bit of TLC like that, it can go a long way. Um, so yeah, I mean, virtual staging is still, some people may not get it. My grandma watches us play NBA 2K on the TV. She thinks they're real people.
Yeah.
And she says, how are you controlling those people? And she literally can't tell the difference between, something that's graphically enhanced or created versus reality. And I don't know. So interesting, interesting. Does it help the listing? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the goal is really to get people in the home, but at the end of the day, if nobody buys it, it doesn't matter if a million people walk through it. You
Yeah.
still have to sell it.
And
So
I think more people
don't take this as
click
a
on it.
shortcut is basically what it is.
Yeah, I think it will get more people to click on it. I think a lot of home buyers will click on a virtually staged room more than a vacant room. But by putting that vacant or the empty room next, it just clears all of the air and sets realistic expectations.
Yeah.
So the next little cherry on top for virtual staging, check out this pool in this gigantic mansion, Beverly Hills or something like that. Doesn't that look like a pool that you want to swim in?
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. The difference of what that looks like. That's night and day for sure. Wow. But why would you have a house like that and not have it fixed? Because it looks like an awesome home.
Yeah, and you would. I mean,
This
again,
is
it's
this is this is me arguing you. I'm debating you on this because I really feel like you're still hurting yourself by having people show up, and you're going to look at that ugly pond. And if you can't get people still excited about the home once they're there, I don't know. I just feel like it's not going to do it justice. I
yeah,
think people are just being lazy and doing things cheaply, but overall the results are not going to be beneficial. I don't know. That's what I think.
yeah. Well, if you've got $10 million, go buy this home that has
Yeah,
a
if you've got $10 million
empty
to buy
pool.
this home and you can't afford to fill it up with water, there's a problem with you outright.
Yeah,
Hey, I noticed that you did not give us a bathroom photo. What's up?
I didn't. I don't have a. Why did they put that toilet
Our
there
one
today?
fan is very disappointed in you, Matthew,
I
because
know. You know, it started out so easy. There were so many
oh,
poorly placed
well,
toilets.
Mr. Yang, I will be your Yang because I have a photo for you of a bathroom.
Okay.
Because I knew that one day you were not going to have one, and I was going to say, I'm here for the rescue. All right, so I'm going to send it to you, which is great because you haven't seen it yet. Check this one out. It took me like a half a second to figure it out. I was like, wait, there's something wrong here. And I was like, oh, wait, there's something very wrong here.
That is
Yeah,
amazing.
and this is 100% real. This is not like make believe. That's actually a thing.
I
So,
don't understand.
yeah, it's kind of dangerous.
That
Could
is
you
not.
imagine
That's
watching
not kind of dangerous.
having
That's incredibly dangerous.
having your baby in there or something and doing like bath time in
What are you
that
talking about,
bathtub?
my baby? I'm worried about me.
Yeah,
You try to
that's.
step out of that. Yeah, that's. Where did you get this?
I found it on online. It was
Okay.
under a listing, and it was just showing crazy shots of the house.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
incredible.
I thought it was pretty funny.
All right. Well, that is the replacement of why did they put the toilet there. That is a why did they put the bathtub there?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Why on earth would they do that? So I just wanted to bring in a little bathroom
To
clip for you,
step up and
stepping up the game. So I
yep.
got you when you need to be gotten. You're welcome.
All right, let's transition over into some interesting real estate news. You sent me a message, or I don't know, you called me. You wanted to tell me that Amazon is now in the real estate business.
Yes, and
What's going on?
are people freaking out about this? I don't know. I've been trying to figure. It's called the Amazon service is called Turnkey, and what they've done is they've partnered up with Realogy and a couple other brokerages. Realogy, people who don't know, is the parent company that owns a lot of large real estate brokerages. For instance, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and I think Sotheby's. But that's who they've partnered up with to offer a credit if you buy a home with one of their preferred agents. And Sotheby's is one of them. So I think it's just with Realogy is who they've partnered up with,
Yeah.
which is smart. But I don't see anything other than the megaphone that Amazon has that lets you know, hey, we've got an extra service here. I don't know anything else regarding the credits and things like that you get on home technology purchases up to $5,000. Overall, it seems like a really small gimmick, and doesn't provide any actual value, in my opinion. So I don't know. Do you have anything else? I think it's just too new. I don't have a lot of data on it.
Yeah, I think I agree and I disagree. I think I agree with the fact that it doesn't actually add that much. At the end of the day, you're probably only going to benefit from the actual products they send you. You know, an Amazon Echo, a Nest doorbell, things like that. I don't think very many people are actually going to use the credits towards Amazon moving services that are offered,
Yes.
but I think it's going to be incredibly successful because people just don't know better. And it's going to allow Amazon to generate so many leads. And just like most lead generating services, probably 75% of them are going to be bad. But I think it's great. I think Amazon's probably going to generate more leads than Trulia, not as many as Zillow.
Hmm.
But I can see
But
people.
what why? Where are the leads coming from? Just because they offer a Nest and a door lock, people are going to start buying houses through them. I
No,
still
because people are on Amazon all the time.
they're on Amazon, but I feel like you can real estate is still so personal and you can negotiate with your broker on and there's just so many other elements to it. I just don't see it's not a means to an end. And I think a company like Redfin, they offer one, the best UX in the industry. And people are on there not because they get cash back or there's great services. It's just because it's just really useful.
Yeah.
Um, I was at an inspection the other day and the agent was in the inspection with us, the listing agent, and he was on Redfin, like working. He's not a Redfin agent. So, and most buyers are, when they're showing you listings and things like that, it's incredible how many clients show you listings or actually utilizing the Redfin app. Even if Redfin doesn't capture all that business,
Yeah.
it's undoubtable that they are superior when it comes to the UX design. The user experience on Redfin is second to none, to
Yeah.
none.
And
And I would say
which is why I
worldwide.
think people are going to click on Amazon. They're going to get tricked into, and I'm going to say tricked into because that's how so many lead generation services work. You click a button, you think you're going to get one thing, and turns out you're getting a phone call from an agent who's trying to convince you to work with them, and you weren't necessarily expecting that.
Right.
So so many people are going to click on that Amazon link. They're going to connect with somebody, and that person on the phone is going to say, cool, what houses have you looked at? And then they're going to send them a bunch of Redfin links.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
absolutely think,
that is exactly what's probably going to happen in
yep.
the points that it works. But we'll keep our. I think this is the infancy level of this. I think there's a lot more room for them to grow and a lot more directions that they can take. I think they're going to incorporate Alexa and just other ways of making Amazon products, stand out. But the industry that's really on the up is home technology services. Like we kind of underestimate the amount of growth that we're going to be spending on automating our homes, from door locks to light bulbs, cameras, um, the doorbells. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I think Amazon and the big players are trying to get ahead of that trend. And this is one part of it, by offering those services that need to be either updated, they can charge monthly for, possibly in the future. And there's a lot of different angles that I think doesn't meet our eyes that are coming. So it's interesting to see how they're trying to basically tack on with the real estate agents and maybe capture those new home buyers from the get-go. And that can lead into other services and products that they can sell. I mean, that's just a tactic that I think is being played, but we'll see how it shakes out.
What if I was to tell you there is an Alexa app that you can say, Alexa, find me a real estate agent, and it will give you the contact info for a real estate agent?
It should do that right now. Can every single thing do that or no?
It does it.
It does it?
Yeah.
Is it us?
No. There's a specific app that somebody made that you can enable on Alexa.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
You
it
have to
is.
enable an app for it to work?
Yeah.
No, forget that. That's not functional.
But don't you think that Amazon's going to step in, delete that app and interface, and just
Yes,
integrate it directly
of
into
course. I
their
think everything
turnkey?
is getting more automated and more voice commands are going to become more and more evident to everything we do. Because even right now, how do you find a real estate agent? You type something in. The future is not that. Everybody's saying voice recognition is going to be the future of everything.
Yeah.
And we are not going to type most things in when we want to search things. And the search and the recognition and all that kind of translation is getting better and better and better. AI is machine learning a lot of the ways and a lot of the habits that we are either browsing, hunting, searching, buying, selling, everything like that is being machine learned. And I think they're going to tap into it. So it'll be really interesting to see how the future is going to shake out. But still at the end of the day, people are trying to replace the real estate transaction with a button. It's not going to happen. It's, at least for now, it is not going to happen. It's just too much of a, as you know, Matthew's having a hell of a deal right now. It's just too emotionally charged. You can't replace what you've been going through for the last month on this one deal that you've got with a button, right? Yeah. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, or if it is replaced with a button, it's replaced by a button that's not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
You can replace us with a robot or a button, and it's just not going to take care of you the same way.
It's too personal, and unless the iBuyer model works out better, where it becomes a dealership of houses, which I, by the way, really like that model. I'm not against it, even though it might challenge our livelihood. I like it. I just don't think it's practical, and I don't think it'll work. I don't think the numbers will make sense in the end, at least for now.
Yeah.
Maybe in 20 years or something like that, maybe perhaps there'll be more systems and a little bit more understanding of how this will work. But for now, iBuyer is a very, very small margin or sliver of the market that would actually be useful. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of room for growth. Okay.
Well, I personally think Amazon's going to get a boatload of clicks through that. And the team that they paired up with, I think their stock went up. They've been getting crushed over the last couple of years, and they finally got a little bit of an uptick from agreeing to sign with Amazon.
Yeah.
Just because Amazon being associated with you is really good for your name.
It is. It's super good.
And Amazon, I think, is going to get a percentage of commissions, right? That's probably how they're going to have that set up.
Yep.
They're going to get a percentage of commission, and they're going to make a boatload of money back by doing that. Their out-of-pocket costs for all of these devices is so small, and any of the services they do, the cost is minuscule. So for every $5,000 that it looks like they're giving you, what do you think? $500?
Yeah. It's probably less.
Less than less than 5. So they're gonna pocket.
The margin is way too high.
Yeah, they'll probably get $2,000 from the agent, spend $500 and pocket $1,500 every single time.
Yep.
Sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Sounds like a great deal.
And it's gonna integrate Alexas and Echoes and everything into everybody's houses, whether they like it or not. So.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
Legal. Talk to me about legal versus stupid. What is that?
So on our notes here, I wanted to talk about a legal or illegal MLS listing versus somebody just doing a really stupid bad job. So what I mean by that...
Yeah, what do you mean? I still don't understand.
So what I mean by that is I sent you a picture a while ago where an agent posted the first photo was a picture of the home that had all of their contact information in it.
Oh yeah.
It said, the photo said contact listing agent direct and had their name and phone number. That is a illegal listing.
Yes, that is 100% breaking the rules from the MLS. In fact, he should be fined.
He should be fined and all of that jazz. So would it surprise you if I told you this was this person's first listing?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise you at all. Would it surprise you if I told you it was their 200th listing?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me either because he's probably not up with the times and understands the rules and maybe is a little bit more old school. That would make more logical sense.
Okay, well, what if I told you then they had 20 listings over the last year?
That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's completely illegal, and I'm surprised the listing was up as long as it was with that.
The really interesting thing is this home was pending.
Even if you have the for sale sign in the photo and you can't even read it,
yeah,
they'll hit you with the fine.
Yeah.
How this guy's getting away with his full contact information in the photo is nuts.
And the property is pending. It was on the market for 30 plus days.
Are the photos still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was when I first sent it to you, it was pending. It had been on the market for 30 plus days, pending with this guy's information on it now.
Yeah,
So that just jumped out, of course, as being illegal.
that is nutty.
So that led me to this next listing that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to send you the MLS link.
Okay.
The reason for that is you really need to click it and experience the listing, because on the surface, there's nothing wrong with it. There's only 8 photos. You and I don't really care about that. 8 photos is enough to give me a gist of it. Doesn't show you the inside of the home until you get to the 7th photo. You get a picture of the bathroom. 2 pictures of the bathroom is all you get on the inside.
Yeah.
So that's a little unnerving, but the property value is pretty good for the area. So you think that you're set up to get a pretty good deal. And it says great starter home on a good sized lot within a highly desirable area. Woohoo! So this listing has been on the market for, let's see, 190 days.
Wow.
So when a
Something's wrong with
listing's
it.
been on the market for 190 days, what does that tell you?
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. The price looks okay.
Minty.
The price looks okay.
Price
And the
looks good.
photos look okay.
Yeah.
So what's wrong? We have to go into the hidden secret notes that are just for the agents. And then it tells you to click the supplements, which is another hidden documents tab that only agents can see. And in that supplements tab, it shows you pictures of the kitchen. And in those pictures of the kitchen, there are no fudging walls. The kitchen is completely empty, not a cabinet in sight. Plumbing is all removed. It's in the middle of a flip, and the sellers ran out of money, so they decided to put it on the market.
Well, either way, if it's been listed for that long, regardless, residential real estate, no matter what, has a price.
Yes.
Unlike commercial real estate, properties can sit for the right buyer. But residential, price is everything. And regardless of having a kitchen or not, that's really deceitful to a lot of buyers who are looking and wanting to book a tour and seeing this house. That one wouldn't even qualify for traditional financing.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's just they're not doing themselves a service by listing it too high.
So that's the problem. So the reason I put this, at first I thought it had to be illegal to put up photos to say nothing in the description of it not having any kitchen, or the whole home being under construction. I kind of thought that was illegal, but now I decided to move into stupid, because what you were just saying is any home's going to sell. Of course, there's a price, but investors will gloss right over this home because it doesn't look like a good deal for them.
Right.
Because they don't know that the kitchen is completely ripped out. They just think it's a $488,000 home.
No, either way, it's overpriced because it's still public information and people are coming across it.
Yeah.
And at $488, with or without a kitchen, is not justifiable. It's too high. With a kitchen, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
But it's a small square footage. Price per square foot is $554 for the area. That is too high.
Yeah, without
a kitchen. Yeah. It'd be on the high side of retail if it's a normal house.
Yeah.
Without a kitchen, it is. So yes and no. It is probably just more in poor taste and also lack of skill that the agent chose to list it this way.
Yeah.
And of course, number one, price it that way. So I don't know.
Because I agree. If there were photos of the kitchen and it said in the description, and we see this all the time, it says in the description, investor special, bring your handyman.
So what are you saying? What's the fix? The fix is...
So to me, the fix is full disclosure, full clarity. This freaking home doesn't have a kitchen. If you bring it, if you come in and you add a kitchen, this home will be worth more money than it's currently listed.
So the listing agent messed up.
Correct.
The listing agent didn't do a good job.
100%.
Is not representing the sale accurately and diligently to its true retail value.
So my question to you is, are they doing it on purpose? Because I'm sure a home at this price point, I know you said it's got a high price per square foot, but they're still going to get calls for it of people who want to buy a first home. They're going to get calls.
Yeah.
Do you think that they misrepresented it in order to drive phone calls to them?
Completely, that is such a wider question. And
you think they're just stupid?
I think yes, I think they're stupid because if they
Okay.
wanted to drive more calls to them, they could do things like Harcourt does, and that actually takes me to one of our points today was the Harcourt auction style listing, and that is something I have a big problem with. And I had some clients go out to one of these listings recently, and it was really interesting because the way the auction style listing is presented is that they will get a house for sale in a neighborhood and they list it at a magical price. The price is not so low that instantaneously you think there's something wrong. It's just low enough to be a ridiculously good deal. And I
Yeah.
think that's like the little special thing that they do. But it is extremely deceiving. And so what they do is they funnel everyone in. They say open house during one day of the week, and they'll set up tents. They'll bring food vendors. They'll do these things, and then probably 100 buyers will show up. 100 buyers will show up for this property, not knowing their whole intention of just corralling all these buyers in one place at one time, collecting all of their information.
Yeah.
And to me, that is really disheartening, and I truly feel should be stopped. And because so many people have been tricked and feel deceived and are wasting their time looking at a home where they have no intention to sell it. And in fact, they got in a little bit of trouble, or I'm assuming they did, because they stopped calling it an auction. And you know what they call it now? An equity sale.
Ah.
An equity sale is not in the same classification of an auction because an auction means you have to sell it at that point.
Yeah.
An equity sale just means, no, we're just calling it something that's being sold for whatever price we want in an auction style setting, but it's not actually an auction. It's just a sales tactic to get buyers all into one place. And that, my friend, I have a problem with. Does that bother you? Does that grind your gears?
it it reminds me of the vacation rental where they give you a vacation and you have to sit through their little presentation.
Oh, you're talking about a timeshare?
The timeshare,
Oh
yes, thank
God.
you. That's what it reminds me of. Is it baits people in with something and then just grinds you and grinds you and grinds
Yeah,
you.
that's some horse shit right there. I totally agree, and that's what I'm getting at. This should be stopped. I think we should sign a petition or start a petition. Maybe our whole one viewer could sign it. So if I'm not busy later, I'll sign it for us. So yeah, I totally agree. I'm pissed off about those hardcore auction style listings where they're just completely fraudulent. I mean,
Yeah.
they have no intentions to sell it in any kind of auction format and to get looky-loo buyers. Oh, by the way, one of these emails went out where they had accidentally CC'd every single buyer that had gone to the auction. So everybody's information was shared accidentally by one of the agents. So that sounds like a thing that
That
you want to get
that's
involved in.
right. So I remember you telling me that story. So the what they're doing is they're trying to collect data.
Yeah,
They're trying to
you
collect
got a
people's
hundred potential
information.
buyers there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
And
all they're
and to
all
convince
sheep.
them to buy with them again on something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. And then so they get a whole list of names and email addresses and then they send out a mass email but don't blank CC everybody. They CC everybody.
Yeah.
So now you have
So now
shared
you shared
email.
information. So
Great.
that's always fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So
also was a little bit of insight into their style and what their actual process is.
yeah. No, that's bad. That is definitely bad, and I hope that people who walk away from something like that don't give in to what they've just been tricked into.
Right.
Is they don't say, "Oh, well, I guess we're already here. It wasn't what we thought it was, but sure, we'll let you represent us." It's like, why would you let the person who just bamboozled you
Right.
represent you?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's pretty bad. And auction, I also do dislike regular auctions being listed because I feel like maybe they're getting a little bit better. Zillow got a little bit better about labeling it as an auction. Like when you click it
Yeah,
in the
that
corner,
does
it
help.
says it a little bit better.
I do like that.
But auctions are rough all around. Same things with like
Rough.
co-ops, anything that is more difficult than a traditional buy, or maybe financing is difficult. That's where Zillow and all of these other lead generation systems end up getting so many leads in that are just
Yeah.
garbage.
Our phones melt when anything like that comes on the market.
Yeah.
Where the deal looks too good to be true. and it's just like, oh, you don't know that there's a deed restriction here, or that
Yeah,
you have to have low income, or you have to have some things wrong with it. And
that's right. The low
it's
income ones are good
then
too.
we just become this automated robot where we just have to be like, no, this isn't real. This isn't what you think, and it
Yeah.
really puts a drag on us. So I really dislike those because we're not trying to be deceitful, and those
Yeah.
listing agents kind of are, but we're unfortunately being served those leads, and we have to deal with them, and it
Well, and
kind of
it's
just
tough.
clogs up our chain.
One of your only ways to handle it is to be like, yeah, doesn't it look like it's too good to be true? Sorry, I hate to break it to you. It's because it is. Like, I'm sorry that that happened, but here's the extra info and
Yeah.
kind of explain why. And then you have to break it to people that if a deal looks too good to be true, it most likely is.
Yep. Totally.
Yep. All
Okay.
right. What else you got for
So
me?
I did something interesting that I've done before in my career of 13 years and hundreds of deals, where I fired a client this weekend.
Oh,
And before I go into why I fired this particular client, have you ever you're coming in as a new face in the business. You haven't fired a client yet, have you? Well,
it's
you kind of did.
it's tough.
I was a mutual fired
I
maybe.
would say no.
Yeah, I would say
I would say no. I would say that I had a
oh,
client that I mutually decided to
right.
split ways with. We both just weren't agreeing with each other's styles on how to win a deal. But no, it wasn't a I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Find somebody else type of
So
conversation.
what are some of the reasons why you would fire a client?
Why I would
Yeah,
fire a
why
client?
what would have to happen with you and a client for you to fire them?
That's tough. It's really tough because
You don't want to fire a client,
you
right?
don't because this
Because you need to
person is
eat.
trying to give you
You got
money.
that damn habit of eating. If you
Yeah.
didn't have that, maybe you could fire people more often, huh?
Yeah,
No, just kidding.
without somebody like cursing in my face. You know, I've worked customer service for a really long time, so I can take a lot of bad customer service or bad client interactions and still be like, whatever, let's just get this done. I honestly, I don't think I can give you an answer. Tell me what pushed you over the edge.
Okay, so this particular client was you could just feel like they were really bad news from the get-go. Um, they reached out to me for a property, had an initial conversation with them that didn't go smoothly. Wouldn't give me straight answers about things,
Mm,
but we booked a tour. They wanted to go see a house. We went to the house. They were an hour late to the house, and I got there
okay.
early, so I'm sitting there for well over an hour just
Yep.
waiting for them to show up. They finally reluctantly show up and would send me sporadic text, just enough to keep me there,
Hmm.
but not to be transparent or helpful of why they're late or that they were sorry that they were late.
Yeah.
So they get there, they don't shake hands, they don't engage in eye contact, and we do our thing. You know, I had a first time tour packet for them. I was going to explain, but they were just not engaged at all. And I asked them a little bit of, I asked them a few, curiosity questions, what they're looking for, why are they buying? They said that they're selling a 4 unit complex and they just wanted to get something that a little bit more stable and easier to manage. Makes sense there. But I asked, well, why are you not buying with your agent that you're working with now? They didn't have a good answer for me or any answer at all, which is always confusing, right?
Yep.
There have a property nearby, an escrow, an agent, and that agent and them are not working together. I wonder what could be going wrong. So, anyways, we departed ways. Then they started sending me not personal things, but they were pinging me on Zillow, and they sent me 15 listings in a span of like 50 seconds. Like it was something crazy. So I've never seen something like that before.
Yeah.
Just ding, ding, ding. And those leads actually could be served to anyone,
Yeah.
but they were being hit to me, but they were not asking me directly. They were just clicking on things on Zillow like crazy. So I reached out to them.
But they had your cell phone number. They knew how
They
to
had
get a
all
hold
my
of you.
contact info.
Yeah.
I'd been discussing with them previously. So I'm like, okay, they didn't really jive with me. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Um, but then I asked them, I said, hey, by the way, I've gotten 15 requests of other homes to see. And, you don't have to just ping random agents on Zillow. You can reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to look into each one of them and give you information. So like, okay, fine. And then they sent me this giant list of like 30 homes. I'm like, oh my God, okay, that's fine. I'll do my work.
Yeah, some people are really active. Some people want to see all their options.
and that's perfectly fine. I
Yep.
encourage people that are active versus inactive or proactive. But the problem was all these listings were fake. They were like auction listings and
Yeah.
short sale listings and things that were not real, land leases, just overall. And I was like, okay, from this giant list, three of these homes are available. I swear to you, three of them
Yeah.
were actually available, two of which I was able to get access. So I said, okay, here's the two homes we can actually look at on Saturday. No problem. I show up on Saturday to the house. I confirmed with them probably about an hour before the tour time. They said, yes, we'll be there. I get to the property. I'm waiting. 30 minutes go by. I'm waiting. 40 minutes go by. I'm waiting. I reached out to them. I called them. They did not return my call. So I leave. And about 45 minutes later, I get a text that says, hey, we're here. Where are you? And I'm like, what the heck? I said, I'm sorry. I did not hear from you. I waited 40 minutes and I decided to leave. And they're like, well, yeah, that's fine. We're here now. Come back. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, no, no. And it wasn't just because they were late, and it wasn't just because they were rude. It was really because of the sporadicness of how they were acting.
Yeah.
And I felt very uncomfortable with that. And there was no remorse. There was no communication. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not coming back. I think it's best for you guys to find another agent. And then I blocked their number.
Yeah.
So that was that. So it's really rare for you to fire. But I knew if it was this difficult to just work with seeing houses with someone,
Yeah.
God help you, have mercy on your soul to be in a deal with
Well,
somebody like
because
that.
it's just
It's
such the beginning phases.
yeah.
If you
That's
can't
that's
if you
the
can't
dating
enjoy,
phase, right?
yeah, if you yeah, it's the honeymoon phase of
Yeah.
getting to look at homes and enjoying that part
If
before you
that
do the
was that,
nitty gritty.
yeah, so harsh. What the heck do you think the deal would be like? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
No, I get it, and it
So
is really hard because you have to say not only did that person cost you some money because they came in through lead generation, they were a potential paycheck maybe, but you had to say this is not worth it.
exactly.
Um,
And they probably will buy something, right, with somebody at some point, but I don't know. It just didn't seem right to
they
me.
may also,
I
I
think
guess they
agents would
can't
be
come
really
back to
split
you.
on this.
They
Like,
can't come
nah, just
back to
deal
you
with it.
because you blocked them. So
Right, right. I don't know. Yeah, they could have cussed me out afterwards or called me, but I wouldn't know because I
yeah,
just did not want to hear from them again. So I sphere them in our system. I put some notes about them, stay away. But yeah, from time to time you come across people like that, and I find them to be dangerous. They're dangerous to your mind. They're dangerous
hmm,
to your soul. They're dangerous to your paycheck. They're dangerous to your license.
yep,
They come with some baggage that I don't think it's really worth in this particular business where the business becomes so personal.
yeah.
I advise to be careful, and it's just not worth it. And I
Well,
think
and I
your
think that
deal was kind of like that, the one that
yeah,
you broke apart.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like I have some buyers right now and we're really close to closing this deal, but it has changed my attitude over the last 30 days. I've been more tired. I've been crankier. This has been such a heavy burden on me. Some of it justified, some of it way overblown by some of the other sides that are in this deal. It's tough when you work in a business where you do rely on another professional person or multiple other professional people. Not only is there normally an agent on the other side, there's escrow, there's title, there's TCs on both sides, there's lenders. There's
Yeah,
all of these people that need to just be doing their jobs.
right.
And whether you work in real estate or you work in any office building, you know how there's so many people out there that are supposed to be good at their jobs that just aren't.
Yep.
And this is one of those situations where I am carrying the weight of this entire deal and it's just draining.
Yeah, and
And
you're
what
not
you,
being appreciated,
yeah,
and you're being kind of trampled on. You're being taken advantage of. But also with that, of course, I don't think the valuable part of this deal for you that you're really struggling with is going to be the commission. For sure, even at the price point, not the commission, but it will be the experience you gain. You
yeah,
will have a notch and a battle scar on you, and you'll take that to the next deal and the next deal and the next deal. You are judged by your hard ones,
yeah,
not your easy ones, and you don't learn anything on the easy ones. It's deals like this where I really feel like you've learned so many lessons. In fact, perhaps even helped as you sent that text about the washing machine to the other agent on how you handled that conversation. That text was brilliant. You wrote it well, and I think it was because of this hard deal that you cut some of the fluff out of things,
Yeah.
and you were able to get to the point and ultimately have a good action
Yeah, I
behind
think
it.
it is important that, like I said, I've been in customer service for a really long time, and I know that a way of disarming people is really talking things through with them and really being there and hearing what they have to say. But there is a point that has to stop. And if you coddle too much or you handle things too much, you're gonna break it.
Yep.
And this is definitely one of those situations. And
Yeah.
also another lesson that was learned is uh, canceling a deal is not always the worst thing that can happen.
Right.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day,
I
if this
agree.
deal closes and everything ends up being fine, then great. I am super happy for my buyers, first time home buyers who are going to have their first home and are going to be able to stop renting, start building this portfolio of real estate that they've wanted to be building. And that's great. But maybe now that I've learned a few of these lessons, a couple of these red flags might pop up in the beginning of the deal. And I might be able to recommend to buyers, you know what, we don't want to deal with this. Let's get the heck out of here. Let's go to this second best option. And it's going to be a smoother transaction than fighting through the rest of this deal.
Totally.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I agree. And we talk about it all the time that my first deal as a real estate agent, I'm not going to say it fell upon my lap, that I had to work for it, but once it was in escrow, it was about as easy as it
Yeah.
gets. It was a very, very smooth.
I hated that was your first deal.
Yeah, it set some
I
pretty unrealistic
Yes, exactly.
expectations.
And I was like, "Oh no, that's
Yeah,
not good. He's going to
yeah.
be spoiled."
But here we are one year later, and definitely different experiences.
Right.
So,
Right.
but it's good. I am glad that I had my first deal go as easily as it did because there were still things, of course, that I learned. I learned how to fill out a real offer for the first time, how to make sure, Cheyenne, I'm going to look at you when I say this one,
Mm.
how to make sure that you check all of the boxes on your offer to make sure that you get everything for your buyers that you told them that you would get them.
Right. Yes.
That was what I learned on deal number one.
Yeah. Well, again, agents, unfortunately, real estate agents, one of the problems with the industry is that there's too many of us
Yeah.
and we don't get enough deals. The majority of us,
Yep.
we only do a good agent, a hot agent will sell two houses a month.
Yeah.
That's it. You write a contract maybe twice a month, and that's the experience you get, especially with
Yeah.
all the updates and changes. So, yeah, you could make mistakes a lot easier because the practice just isn't there.
Yeah. You don't get your reps in.
You don't get the reps in,
Yeah.
and it's just so hard. You're fighting and hunting for everything with as every day and every night. That it just is inevitable for you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
also, you can't fake the learning that I went through in this last deal. You could not have sat down and written out a training for what I've learned in this deal.
yeah,
You can
exactly.
only learn it by
And,
doing it.
and
And
that's
we know
yeah.
that. We know that when it comes to so many things that you
That's
have to
and
practice
that's what
in.
new agents have to understand.
Yeah.
A lot of times new agents want training. It's like, great, I can teach you some of the bullet points,
Yeah.
but you can't really be trained for this. You have to have experience in this. And you get that by putting your boots on the ground and living it. And that's where you learn things because the things that happen in this deal to you will never probably happen again.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 13 years and I've never dealt with the exact thing that you're dealing with
Yeah.
ever. And you probably won't do it either. So it's interesting how, but you will have learned things out of this side of the deal that will make you better.
Yeah, and I'll be able to take pieces of this and use it
Yeah,
for other things. It
exactly.
won't be the exact same red flags, but I'll sense the spirit of the red flags.
Exactly.
And I think that's interesting because I remember when I went to my orientation, when I became a realtor instead of just a real estate agent, I went to my realtor orientation and they were so nice. Of course they were. They just took $1,200 of my money.
Yep.
Um, but then they were talking about all the trainings that they offer, the free seminars, and you can go to this and you can go to
Right.
that.
I know.
and
They
then
all
how to
offer that.
use MLS and all these things. And I talked to you about them. I was like, okay, I'll go to this one. I'll go to that one. And you're like, why in the world would you do that?
Exactly.
What a waste of time.
It
You
is a
talked to even
colossal waste of time. It's so funny
broker
because
previews too, right?
there's so many things that they have to fill their time with because guess
Yep.
what? They're not doing the business.
Yep.
They're training on the business and filling their time in between, which is one of the quirks about being an agent and having too many people in your field. It becomes really, really difficult. And it's funny because most of those people who are filling up those workshops, not all of them by any means, but most of them are not the top producing agents.
Yeah.
They're not. They're agents who do very, very little work, and it doesn't mean that they're just new. It means that they just haven't really been able to figure it out. Remember, most agents, I think, in 80% of new licensees will be out of the business within the first 90 days. That is a crazy statistic.
Yeah.
And the other ones that kind of hang around probably are just hanging around, and have to do other things to make ends meet, at least for a while. And that's any kind of sales job. It takes a while for you to get your groove and to get a pipeline that's strong enough and growing enough that will keep you fed
Yeah.
year over year. But it might take a decade to get there. And it's a book of business, and every business has it. And real estate is really no different. So that's basically in a nutshell. I mean, we had a fantastic segment coming up, but it's already at an hour.
Yeah. No,
So
I
I think we're gonna have to save it for
Yeah.
next time. And yeah, we'll just do it on episode 8, which is a very good feng shui number.
Yeah, and just a heads up for everybody, the title of the next section is called The Great Debate.
The Great Debate.
So
Yes.
expect
Which
some
is
yelling
which is
back and
supposed to be
forth.
like the grand finale, the Great Debate, and we
But-
and we didn't even get to it.
No,
so.
I think it justifies
God, Matt,
taking
you
up.
just talk too much.
I know.
God.
Well, it justifies taking up a big
Can't
piece
you
of
can't
time.
you just let me talk and you be eye candy
Mm.
for our viewers?
Yeah,
Is that a new?
I do what I can.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think that was good. And again, for anybody who had a July like the July that I had and learned more lessons than maybe they even wanted to or needed to, I hope you stick with it and keep working hard. And I hope the people that you're working for actually appreciate the work that you're doing.
I hope so too. So to our fellow realtors, we wish you a happy summer, and we'll
Yep.
see you next week.
All right, bye guys.